Today we're going to talk about the MPF, the Mobile Protected Firepower, that's been floating around on the internet. Some of you guys have seen it. You're kind of curious, what the heck is this thing? Well, this is it. The image behind me is from a old photo of the BAE Systems M8 AGS. The M8 was originally produced in like the 1980s as the M551 Sheridan was going out of service. The Army wanted to have a replacement for it, so BAE Systems created the M8 AGS. That thing was since sidelined and has been sitting there. And every time that Army wants to have an expo, like AESA or any of the other expos that they go to, BAE Systems, whenever they would come to a light tank sort of RFP that they put out, would show the M8 AGS out. The M8 is a very mature product. It's been around for decades. It's been around damn near as long as the Abrams has, and they've just continuously made changes on it. Some of the changes on this thing are that they have incorporated a rubberized track in it, that it has an autoloader, and scalable armor solutions. So it's got that level 1 through level 3 armor. So there's some cool noticeable differences between the M8 and the MPF produced by General Dynamics Land Systems. I can't find a name for the damn thing, but it just says MPF. So I'm taking it that this is General Dynamics Land Systems' primary entrant, obviously. And there's a few photos of it. There's not many photos and there's not much information on the GDLS product. But what we do know is that GDLS claims that it has the M1A2 SEP V3 fire control unit, which is awesome. And it also has a Commander's Independent Thermal Viewer, which, in the information that I found that is all linked below, does not have, the M8 does not have a CITV. The M8 is going to be rear drive, whereas the MPF is going to be front sprocket drive. So very similar to a Bradley. The M8 sports a M35 105mm main gun with 25 round autoloader that can have a sustained rate of 12 rounds per minute, which is pretty impressive for an autoloader. That's a tall order for an autoloader. The MPF also has a 105mm, and it looks like it's also going to be an autoloader. I don't know if they're using the autoloader from the M1128 Striker mobile gun system, but it's going to be interesting to see on that thing. And it is also important to know that this, while it looks and seems like a light tank, it's not necessarily a light tank. To quote David Dopf, which is the MPF project lead, I don't want to say it's a light tank, but it's kind of like a light tank. It'll be much lighter than a tank, weighing between 25 and 35 tons. 2 of the armored vehicles should be able to be flown in a C-17. BAE Systems claims that 3 of their M8 entrants with level 3, which is the top armor that can be added onto it, can be loaded into a C-17. It's also supposed to be air droppable by a C-130 or C-17 and roll on, roll off capable. That's pretty interesting to see. I don't think they're going to be air droppable with level 3 armor. They could be. I don't know. I'm not an air droppable guy. So what it says from Army Acquisition is that it's supposed to be an MPF for 504 vehicles. The objective is 504 vehicles with 14 MPFs going per IBCT, Infantry Brigade Combat Team. And the first unit equipped is supposed to be in fiscal year 2025. So that's coming up very quickly. So apparently, the U.S. Army issued the RFP in 2017, which is the request for proposal. Words are difficult this afternoon. And this is meant to augment the infantry. It's not supposed to be a tank on tank, toe to toe. I'm fighting T9s with this thing. It's not for that. It's like the same capability and concept as the MGS was for the SBCT, the Striker Brigade Combat Team, whereas it uses a 105mm main gun to augment the infantry's capabilities by providing that direct fire support. So it can destroy bunkers, can create infantry passages, it can just obliterate obstacles. That's what this thing is going to be designed for, and it's going to be really interesting to see how the infantry fights this thing. Here's a prototype patch that 82nd Airborne would be in the traditional Dorito patch, which is pretty comical to me because of how resistant a lot of the 82nd guys are to armor, and here they are being having some MPF shoved their way, but I think they're going to appreciate it once they get to see it. This is part of the Army's shift in doctrine away from the asymmetrical warfare we saw in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and back to a more traditional doctrine that we would see with the European theater of conflict. So keep your eye on this. As soon as we get more information, we'll of course try and push out as much as we can. But until next time, like, dislike, subscribe, unsubscribe, whatever you want to do. Catch you guys next time.